Welcome to turning a moment into a movement.
Just let the light of mine. I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. Just let the light of mine. Just let the light of mine. I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. Oh Lord, just let it shine. This light of mine, this light of mine. Oh Lord, would you please just let it shine. Take the drama out of my life. Oh Lord, every night, the pain ain't right. I wake up at night, I never sleep. 26, 10, and 7, that's just me. Every day I need a little seed. I need a little fresh air, man, I need to breathe. All I know is trauma, all I know is tickets. All I know is no visit. All I know is a mission to get straight up out of prison. Lord have mercy for me. Lord have mercy on my people. Preacher Mary Washington and all my real. Lord have mercy with my people. I pray to God, we really need you. When I was down bad, when things weren't going right, every time I prayed at night, I put my hands up in my face. I said, Lord have mercy, little light of mine. Lord God, please let it shine. It's the drama that I live in my life. I swear to God, I was a bad guy every night. 10 toes down, salute. Everybody suffering, everybody who trying to make a way. Everybody looking for the sky, everybody looking for that piece of pie. In a law library, I know what that feel like. Hoping that somebody get active and involved in your situation. Man, pop your collar and pray. Cause Lord have mercy on my soul. And they make bad guy father get out soon. And the rest of those brothers who be mobbing to child each morning. Oh man, I ain't going to this afternoon. Man, I'ma miss dinner today. I got a couple of noodles. You know what that feel like? Do you know what it is? And if you a victim of a wrongful conviction, suffered and served by Ken Worthy, then I know that you know what that pain feel like. And your mama know what that pain feel like. Your father know what that pain feel like. With that light, let that little shine. Let that light shine a little light of mine. Bad guy, Doughboy Week, all these great people in this great world of ours. 10 toes down, salute. I appreciate you, bad guy. I appreciate you, we. I appreciate the tech. I appreciate everybody in the studio. We gonna pop off that LV, ooh wee, cause that's what they be liking to see. But I hope you hear the missing when you see me fresh. Ooh. Salute.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for Turning a Moment into a Movement. I am your host, J Love, and I also represent the Justice for Gerard movement. Gerard is my son who was wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't do, innocent, and he went to prison for that crime. And so because of that journey with Gerard, I met so many people who were wrongly convicted, or were advocating for someone that was wrongly convicted, or people who didn't even know anything about wrongful convictions. I mean, I was just learning about it myself. So because of that journey with Gerard and all the people I met, I decided to create this platform called Turning a Moment into a Movement. And so we come here on Fridays to talk about wrongful convictions and injustice and things that plague our communities. Our mission here is to bring awareness to all that are impacted from being wrongly convicted, over sentenced, mentally ill, and medically frail in our community, to inspire, organize, and educate all communities about the needs to disrupt systems, policies, and patterns of the criminal legal system that leads to wrongful convictions. And so that's why we come here every Friday. So I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank those who have been holding us up for these last 4 or 5 years now. So thank you. Thank you for those who are watching on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and for those who are going to listen to us later. So, and also subscribe to our platforms. We need you to subscribe, especially to our YouTube platform, because guess what? Who knows how long we're going to be on Facebook. So subscribe. So when you subscribe, you won't miss an episode because it'll notify you. So yeah, subscribe. So again, thank you for watching. I'm going to bring on one of our panelists. Hey, Leslie.
Hello.
Leslie, I know you're under the weather, but hi, how are you feeling? What's going on with you? And introduce yourself.
I just want to clarify. So if I seem a little bit off, I do have a sinus infection and under a doctor's care and medication. So like I just watched the mute button and still missed clicking it in time. I am excuse me. Thank you. All right. So I represent my daughter. Yeah, she's not shy at all. I represent my daughter and my son. So my kids are 19 years apart. My oldest son is actually a creative and fun person who is very into family, and he was anyways, he's an inmate at MDOC, and so he is. I don't want to talk about the case, but anyways, it was basically a wrongful conviction. Um, but not only that, he is a member of the mental health community and was suffering at the time of his arrest, and was not treated, not treated right. And I had to fight for not only his criminal legal, but also his health care while he was under the care of the jail and then the prison. And so that fight continues. And I also here to represent Albert Williams. So I one person called it, I don't know if this is the term you call it. He called me an intra ambassador. So like, I like a lot about futuring and planning, but I also do it in a way that I like the Sankofa model, that I really into history and our families and all the wisdom they had. Those kitchen table conversations and porch conversations got us through. And we're going to have to come back to some of those. And so the Albert Williams Voting Corner is named after, it's a legacy project because my great grand uncle was killed in the line of duty helping people to vote in Brownsville, Tennessee. And the reason he wanted to vote was wrongful convictions, police brutality, and lack of representation in the court in terms of like land. So a lot of old slave masters, when they die, they will a little piece of land. Well, then after a while, they come back and take it back, and it was no way to stop it. So, anyway, so a lot of the things that he fought for, I feel like we still fighting for, and so I'm just taking up the baton, and I don't have the same imminent danger that he did. So I'm doing what I can. Thank you so much, J Love, for creating this platform. I really appreciate you.
You know what, Leslie, I was just thinking, your son's impacted, and I'm about to bring Gloria on because all of us had sons impacted by the judicial system wrongly, Gloria too. And so this is going to be a great conversation because Ramatia is not here right now and Trisha had to step away. So it's going to be us mothers talking about wrongful convictions of our sons. So, and this is probably, I know, the first time really since I've been doing this that this has happened. So it's kind of like perfect. So let me bring on Gloria. Hey, Gloria.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good. I can't complain.
Gloria, introduce yourself.
My name is Gloria Jackson. I have two sons that were convicted for the same crime. I can say that it's I don't even know if there's a word that they actually that's out here, even in any kind of dictionary or anywhere that can even describe the stress, the pain, the heartache of what you go through. Is, it's really no words that I can say that I can even get in any, to talk. When I talk to someone about what they're going through, it's unbelievable. And I can tell you, when I hear the stories, I don't have to know you, but I do know your pain. And it hurts me to even read about other people or to hear about it. It's like, oh my God, it's draining. When I used to go see my two sons, I haven't seen my sons in years because I had started getting panic attacks so bad. It just came out of nowhere after years and years of visiting them. I think the most horrible feeling was when you're walking out and you take that glance back and you see them just sitting there. and you say it's nothing we can do to bring them. That's just, I will come me driving down the highway and have to hit all my windows, pull over me. I'd be short of breath, heart palpitating so fast. And it's been rough. I can tell you, had it not.
Yeah, Gloria. I
I
met
can't hear you.
Gloria as we was advocating through
Gloria's still trying to talk, it sounds like.
oh, Gloria, are you talking? Your sound went out, Gloria. I can't hear you. I'm pretty gonna just shake. Your sound went out, Gloria. Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can unmute. Unmute your mic, Gloria. Let's see. No. Unmute. So we're having some difficulties right now. So we're gonna.
Let me call her. Oh, she might be on her phone.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Trisha.
Hey.
Mercury is definitely retrograde.
I am always, my heart, aches for Gloria. And I get so angry with this system because they know that those men are innocent. There's so much evidence, and yet they still sit there. And this is just a common theme across this state as it pertains to wrongful convictions. And I think the biggest reflection tonight that I want people to understand is a lot of times when you think about somebody wrongfully convicted, you think about that individual alone, but it's their whole family. I have watched this mother suffer for 11, 12 years, but she's still standing. So salute to you, Glo. I love you.
I love you too.
We couldn't hear when you were saying that when you hear your heart aches and that you would have panic attacks.
Yes.
Then your voice cut out, and I was so into what you were saying. Do you remember anything that you were saying after?
Yes, I was saying that it has forced me. I don't go see them because it's too much. It's like I can't breathe. And over the years, it like I have had a chance to talk to the prosecutor maybe twice, and the people that represent you are so depressing. It's one thing if you can go and if you come out with the same thing you went in with, answers. You want answers. And they tell you the same thing. We're working on it. And yes, we are really just, call us next week. You know what they do? They take a paragraph and they just switch the words up on you. You get the same answer. Just, I mean, it is. It's mental. Because when you can't breathe, I have panic attacks so bad. When I'm talking to them, my heart is racing because they don't seem to, although they work to help us, they don't seem to really understand. Because I don't understand how you can see me and know the suffering. It's like seeing someone dying and you sitting there and you have the key to help them, but you refuse to do it. So if I can just understand, here's my question, and maybe one of you guys can help me. When they say that you get evidence, and help me understand what evidence they're talking about, because you can seem like everything. You can have recantation, and they'll say, you need more. When they say more, I asked, are you telling me to dig up bodies and bring them? Out the grave? What are you asking me to do? Because when is enough? I guess I want to say, what do you really have to free an innocent man?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of paperwork or what is needed? If somebody can tell me, because it's been 22 years.
You gone deaf? We can't hear you again. We can't hear you again. Toggle your volume, Gloria.
Let me see if I can adjust her. Okay. Let me see if I can do something on my end.
While you doing that, is it okay if I share a picture real quick? It goes in what line what she was just talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just share this photo. You see these lumps on here? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
After I hadn't seen my son in 19 months, when I did go see him, because they wouldn't allow it, when I did see him, I just had so much in. And Marjan Parham from Michigan Liberation, she just was so good to me. And I talked to her through a lot. I did one of the podcasts, but really the conversation that happened beforehand was like the first time I was in touch with my own emotions. I had these welts that hurt and they burned and they itched all the same time, all over my body, my neck, everywhere. And it lasted for 3 months. I went to every doctor in Washington County. Nobody could figure out what they was. I'm telling you, those was when she was just talking about how your body reacts. I'm here to tell you, my body has reacted in so many crazy ways that I never dreamed of could be emotional.
I know. For me, I don't think I slept for the whole 2 years Gerard was in it. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep. I was worried about him the whole night. If I slept, it was an hour here or hour there. I was basically sleep deprived because I couldn't imagine what he was going through at night, knowing that, his health condition, his mental state, because he just lost it. The day he got the verdict, the day he lost his father, we found out his father died. So I know he was emotionally just going through a lot, and I could not sleep. And then I also knew, but when he called, I had to be physically ready to have a conversation with him that would not, make him feel some kind of way.
Yeah, or because they can tell when their mamas don't feel right.
Right. Immediately. So I had to get myself together, eat sleepy and tired and worry and sick to my stomach, which now, like, if I get extra upset, my stomach is, But I had to, because I knew he was sick. I knew he was going through stuff. I knew, and as a mother, these things, when they come on the other side of it, people don't understand, that part of the suffering that the mother and the family has been through. They feel like it because you're exonerated, we'll give you a check or whatever, eventually, whatever. And they think, okay, it's gone away, but it's not. Because you're still living with this nightmare every day. when somebody said your kid was guilty, that feeling sitting there watching it, and that, guilty, and knowing that, this whole role that you are not even mentally or physically prepared for. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I was literally walking around with this phone in my hand until he finally called. So, I'm telling you, it's a lot that people, that is unsaid, in this whole thing on wrongful convictions. Go ahead, Gloria.
Can't hear you.
Oh, Gloria, your phone. You might have to pull your phone up. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on with your body.
No, it's like, and because it goes in and out, it seems like it's reverting to whatever her default is. But we don't know what that is. But
if you can hear me, try it from your laptop. Are you on your laptop or your phone?
No, she's on her phone.
Try it from your laptop.
It's unavailable. Hey, Rabbitia, how are you?
I am wonderful. I am. So good. How are you doing? I'm so glad to be here tonight. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Trishay. Look, coming from the choice zone where I have obviously not been making very good choices for myself lately. I'm working on me. And reminding myself that no is a complete sentence and setting boundaries. So yeah, I'm loving it. I am excited to be here tonight. Excited to work with my sisters on our humanity in every area. And really looking at our communities and how we can serve our communities better. And like Trishay, I don't know if she said it yet, but dealing with the realities of the facts that have already happened within society. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the conversation. And even though, and I have to tell everybody, look, this technology has been doing a doozy lately. I have had to power off, power on. I don't know about anybody else, but almost daily. just to hear. I'm so glad I can hear you guys today because I think it was last week I couldn't have had to do something different earlier this week. So yeah.
Gloria asked a question. She said, "What do you do? What new evidence? What, And in my studies of wrongful convictions across this country, wrongful convictions have been flipped for many reasons, right? In most cases, there's a glitch that happened in the trial or with the case, and it winds up getting overturned. Some of those are through by way of Brady violations. Brady violations are things that happen during the investigation by police officers. That alone is enough to flip a wrongful conviction. I hear that our prosecutor has told people there's nothing I can do, and I challenge him on that. There's plenty that you can do because you are the prosecutor. You can vacate charges. You can do exactly what it is that you want to do. There's 19 Brady violations in this case. Maybe even more.
Can you explain to those of us who do not know what the Brady violations are? What that
right. So Brady violations are acts that are committed by the police in the midst of a investigation. And it occurs when the prosecutor says, and I'm going to read this actually. A Brady violation occurs when the prosecution fails to disclose evidence that is favorable to the accused and or the material to the defense as established by the Supreme Court, Brady versus Maryland. This includes evidence that could undermine the prosecution's case, impeach witness credibility, or support the defendant's innocence. Now, let's reflect that into Detroit. There's a list of about 85 officers that were caught lying on the stand. That is a Brady violation. Withholding evidence. That is a Brady violation. Those are acts that happen with the prosecution. So it's any funny business, pretty much, right, that happens in the midst of these trials that can be proven at the hands of either the prosecutor or the police in the investigation, and also like lying on a stand.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Mhm.
Because let me tell you something. So Harry Connick Jr.,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know where he got his first money was from
No.
his daddy, Harry Connick Sr.
Okay.
Harry Connick Sr. was the lead prosecutor in New Orleans Parish for a long time. He just died last year, like 99 now, almost to 100. And there was all this going on, like, whatever. He, his prosecutors was so dirty. He said he was going to clean it up, whatever. They found out there were in the hundreds of these. Like, I didn't know the name of it. So that's what I was asking you that. And so, John, and I'm going to tell you his name. I can't get his last name right now. He died in the, like a couple years ago, but he was wrongfully convicted in the 80s. He was given like a $3 million settlement or something like that. When Harry Connick Sr. realized how many people could be wrongfully convicted, he pulled in a favor with the Supreme Court and had it so that you cannot countersue the prosecutor at the federal level.
This is what they do. Put protections in place for themselves. And that was the whole thing about immunity, right? Immunity is absolute immunity, and there's a difference, right? Absolute immunity means that they cannot be prosecuted or they cannot be sued financially for, the things that they do. So what's the recourse? What do we do? And it's platforms like this. This is what we do. We share the stories in hopes that somebody will listen, in hopes that families will link up, in hopes that we will get strength from one another and fight against this demon of injustice.
It's a struggle. It's certainly a struggle.
Yeah.
COVID came, and not just that. As you get older, okay, I'm 69. It's like as you get older and you see so much happening, and when COVID came, it freaked me out so bad. My anxiety was on 8,000. And it was because I was like, Lord, you have to watch over me. I want to see my boys come home. I want to spend some time with them. It's just hard when you think about, so many years, and you ask yourself, if it's an investigation going on, it's been 2 years, and it took you a week or two to convict them over what you say you investigated. Somebody help me understand that. How can you investigate something going on 2 years, and then it take you for 2 weeks to convict them for life in prison forever with no evidence? I'm just not getting that. You mean to tell me in almost 2 years you still have nothing? I don't get it. I don't get it. I just pray to God that my health. I just pray. I'm sorry. I get so emotional because I just don't understand how people can be so wicked. How you can know a man didn't do anything. How you can know and you just won't do what's right. It's just rough. It's rough.
I don't understand how they lie. I don't understand how you sleep at night and blatantly lie on someone. Blatantly tell a lie in court. But if you lie, you're going to get the book thrown at you. But they lie, they can go right back to work tomorrow. And so
you're right.
They go right back to work. They go right back to whatever they're doing. And you got to sit up and fight for years based off of somebody else's lie. And when you try to speak on this in our communities about these wrongful convictions, it's like pulling teeth. It's so hard to have these conversations with people, to really to tell people, how this is affecting our communities, because we are all so embedded and ingrained and indoctrinated into this justice system that we hanging on to for dear life.
Right.
Act like it's just so. No, it is not. And so we suffer because people don't want to listen to what's really going on. Greetings.
Hey, y'all. Hey, sorry for my late arrival.
No, we're happy you're here. Introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm my Detroit lawyer. I am a criminal defense attorney. I'm working hard on trying to bring everybody who is wrongfully incarcerated home, y'all.
We appreciate that. I do. I know that.
Yeah. So I was watching you guys on YouTube, and I just texted Jay and was like, "Let me hop on right now," because I just gotten home, and I know she was gonna have me on another day, but I needed to hop on because I was watching you guys, and I was like, I gotta hop on this.
Yes. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So I've been watching you from afar for a minute, but what really rung my bell this week was that verdict. And I saw on your Instagram video and what's his name? Michael Jackson.
Bolanos.
Bolanos.
Yeah.
And that same judge was the judge that I had to listen to that wrongly convicted my son. And had the same pitiful ass excuse about why she was doing it. And then I listened to why she was giving this young man 15 years.
Period.
And I was just disgusted. And I was like, you know what? I got to reach out to you because this lady is disgusted. But it's not only her, it's so many more like her.
Yeah. Out her mind. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know who knows the ins and outs of his specific case, but she absolutely is taking justice and running left field with it. Like she could just do whatever she want to do. And that is what a lot of judges are actually doing. And that is the thing that everybody should have a problem with. Because what is happening is that juries, even if they're coming back and convicting, they're not convicting correctly because half the time they don't even know what they're convicting on. Okay, so we could start there. Secondly, if there are issues in the way that the conviction has even happened, you can't even go back and make the correct. Is that me? What sound is that? Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. You can't even go back and make the correct arguments that need to be made to correct things that directly affect sentencings of incarcerated people. That is a problem. That is a problem. And we all need to be aware of these problems. Because people are not paying, we as a society are not paying close enough attention to the way that that the system is trying to railroad us, and not even trying to, the way that they are railroading us. And they're doing it. They're coming in here and they're playing their own role and they're saying what they want to say. And when we try to fight back with that, they just shut us down. Like, that's crazy. And I'm sorry, I just came in here and I came in with real heat and I'm fired up or whatever, but this is how I feel.
No, because I was listening to her and she was like, basically, get it on a pill. You know, like, you gonna
like
say
they don't know.
something?
Come on now. Like, they don't know how many opportunities at appeal a person has. When you have the opportunity to stop the buck right there, why are you not doing that? That is your job as a judge, period. Yeah. You're supposed to be holding the reins of justice. And y'all just letting it just go like that? Like, come on now, stop playing. That's crazy.
That's what they do. As a matter of fact, with this Vesey case, it could have been stopped by a judge in the beginning. As a matter of fact, the judge said, well, I know the witnesses are lying. I know something's going on here, but I'm going to still let it go through. I'm going to bound it over. Why are you not stopping that? Because you said out of your own mouth that you know that the witnesses are lying, but you let that lie go and enter into a trial and convict two innocent men. So I think what we got to understand when it comes to this wrongful convictions, and we tried to do that with the summit this year, it starts with a wrongful arrest.
Period.
It starts with if you got a wrongful arrest, you had to have a wrongful investigation. Because why are you investigating me and I am not the person who did this crime? Then the wrongful trial, the wrongful conviction, the wrongful sentencing, they all, the judge, the prosecutor, the police, it's all hand in hand. And people do say, oh, this system, it works. You know, justice does reign. And you're right. It does work. It works to do exactly what it was meant to do. And it started out catching us as slaves, and it's still catching us as slaves to this very day with the 13th Amendment. And until we wake up, okay? Until we wake up and come out of slumber, because that's the problem. We are sleeping and we don't talk about it. We don't look at it until it happens to our family. And I get it, because it's not even on our radar. Nobody's even talking about it. But where we're at right now, people are talking about it. Where we're at right now, wrongful convictions are on the forefront, and they are happening all the time. And it's going to be up to us to do something about it, whether it's writing the judicial tenure committees, whether it's writing the bar associations, whether it's by any means necessary, we have to attack this because it's attacking us.
Period. It is. And you know what? I'm sorry. I don't want to take over everything, but I just have so much to say when it comes to the system. I got so much to say when it comes to the system and the bullshit and the injustice of this and the way that they railroad shit and the way that they act like they're doing justice, and they're not. Because at every single turn, they're making bad calls. Even when it comes to the small things, like the objections, they'll overrule the objections and let shit in by the prosecution where you know it's a bad objection. Like, get the fuck out. And all of those little things, they matter. They're not little things. They matter. Because when you're sitting there and you're presenting to a jury, all of those little things matter. You gotta be able to tell a story. You can't have limitations on your cross. You can't have none of this. And it's a whole like red carpet charade for the prosecution, for the judge, for all of these people that just open the door and just shift them in. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And it makes me so angry every day of my life. I think I have like high blood pressure because I'm so angry every day of my life. but it's crazy. And you're absolutely right. Trish, you're absolutely right. We as a community need to care more. We need to pay careful attention to what is going on, because they're playing in our faces. They're playing in our faces, and they're taking us to be fools when they play in our faces like this. I hate that. I hate that.
You're right. Trisha, you say it all the time. They playing in our faces. They're playing in our
Ain't nobody
faces.
play in your face unless you allow it.
Yeah.
That part.
And I think that's what we have to stress here, right? Like, we're not helpless on the side of the road, damsel in distress. No,
That's
we
right.
are, but we're really not if we take accountability for us dropping the ball on ourselves, educating ourselves in our community like we show up here to do every week, continue to get the reach out as far as we can go, and then come together as a collective. That's why we are pushing this vision of the Wrongful Conviction Task Force. It's not so that we can show up every third Saturday and be like, hey, how y'all doing? I mean, I love to show up and say, hey, how y'all doing? But I want to get something done. I want us to stand together and let them know that we are not powerless, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to attack you from every angle that we possibly can by any means necessary.
Absolutely.
Right. So
You know
it's
what
like, go ahead, Gloria.
You know what I was thinking? I envision this big old giant building with all of our teenagers, well, actually younger children, being taught what the laws of this country is. Because I got, and I'm saying what we getting is blindsided. It's like sucker punched. And if you don't know anything about the laws, you ain't never heard anybody teach you or anything, you get my age and you don't know. I can't tell you, I didn't even know how to fight. I didn't even know who to call, because I've never heard it. And so these young people, even now, that's getting in this trouble, they have no idea where they're headed. That is 10 times harder for you than it is a white man. And I'm just telling you, you can't do what you want to do like you think you can do. You're not finna get a pat on the hand. You know, what there's once was, you know, and that's what it's like none of our children, majority, is not even aware of what's gonna happen. You know, you send them to all these juvenile homes for all the things they do. And when they get to adult court, they pay for every bit of that juvenile stuff. Although they tell you it don't follow you, that's a lie.
Yep.
They bring up every last one of them things. And I can remember I want to say this was the lead detective. I remember him coming to me and he said, I'm not even worried about your sons, because I know they didn't do it, because I used to case your area for years and they never stayed in any trouble or anything. The only reason I came and arrested them is because I think Dennis knows who did it. I don't think they did it. When they were convicted, he cried like a baby, cried literally, and told me, now they just been charged with murder. They got life with no chance of parole. And you come to me and tell me to come to you so you can help me? What are you going to help me? They took them. And then he went to see my son, I think it was like 4 or 5 years later, and asked him who did it.
Wait, I'm sorry, Gloria, are you talking about one of the investigators?
Yeah.
On the case?
Yeah.
He gonna ask you to come to him. You helped prosecute my son. Why would I come to you? Oh my God. They be playing. Oh, that's
they
crazy.
knew they didn't do it, even down to the wire of the who was that man? The when you have to get the lie detector test. The lie detector guy told Dennis, say, look, I know you didn't do it. I know you weren't there, but because I think you know who did do it, I'm gonna fail this test.
Let me tell you. This is they're all they are all working in cahoots. You cannot tell me they're not. That's the same thing that happened to Bolanos. How you got in Bolanos's case, how you got the white boyfriend who admitted to the murder, and you still got this black man on trial for this murder. He admitted to the murder. Come on now. Y'all didn't investigate that. Come on now. And Bolanos is in prison right now. Come on now. We all talk about the same things. That's crazy.
That's crazy. And then her raggedy ass gonna say, well, he didn't do the murder, but he was around there stealing the night of the murder. He is not on trial for the stealing. They did not want to charge him for the stealing. So you sitting up here saying because he lied to the police, which is not necessarily perjury because he wasn't on the stand lying to the police, right? It was in the middle of an investigation. They take this into their hands and they act like they're gods.
They can do whatever they want.
Great God. And this stuff gonna start crumbling down. I'm telling you.
Yes, because they're making about politics.
That part.
It's about politics with him. This lady was Jewish. She was connected to Dana Nassau. And so Dana Nassau, you know,
Gretchen Whitmer, all of these people.
Yeah, all of them together. And so they still trying to punish him for a crime that he didn't do by giving him 15 years for some crap. You know, but this goes on and we stay silent.
And if I may, like Jay, to your point, that was the whole reason for me starting this series that I tried to make like I'm trying to make it a series. Like, who the fuck decided to incarcerate Bolanos? Because I want people to pay attention. It's not just about Bolanos. It's about every single person in the system that they do this to. This is systematic incarceration that they are doing, and they get away with it every single time because we, as Black and brown communities, do not pay close enough attention. We only pay attention when it affects our people. When it comes close to home, then we pay attention. Otherwise, we don't pay attention. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem because we keep believing the lies. And how many lies have to be told? And we have to, and they politicize, like you've been saying, they politicize the lies. So that's, you know, if you look at the main lie is that we are not safe. And so it's a fear-based political strategy to tell the society that you are not safe. And the reason why you're not safe is because of poor people, because of people of color, because of people who look different than the status quo. And they shift the focus so that people can perceive that there is always a threat. So when that happens, leaders use this fear tactic to maintain political control and to avoid accountability. Absolutely. Every time. It's easy. Why? Because they keep saying the same thing. We got to keep the community safe. They run up politically. They run their campaigns. I'm going to make this community safe. We're going to be safe again. The idea is what? You're not safe. Why? Because you got brown people around you.
Yep. It's the propaganda. It's the propaganda. That's exactly what it is. And the reality of it is if we really peel back the layers and we look at what we're really talking about, the only people that are really creating the threat to our societies are those that are white and rich because they have the power to get away with everything. We never get away with anything. Anything we do, if we jaywalk, they gonna ticket us. It's a wrap. It's done. They got all eyes on us. But when they do something, we skim over that, right? Because the media is not focused on that. The media is never focused on what white people are doing. And I'm the person that's going to call out the race every time. I don't care. I'm going to call a spade every single time. I'm going to do it. And that's what it is. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Leslie?
I just the two things came to mind when I'm listening to y'all. One is that I can't remember. I think it was Trisha was saying that people think the system is working. I think a certain type of people think the system is working in our community. Like people that got a little something or whatever. And then I feel like working class or poor folks think that the system doesn't work at all. And so they just remove themselves completely and don't try to stand up at all. You know what I'm saying? I was told when my son was 12 years old, that because I was taking him to some little group or whatever about, what to do is stop at a what to do when you stop by the police, that kind of thing. I didn't know. I was trying to do whatever I could because I know by him being part of the mental health community, by him being black, by all these things, and the son of an inmate. So I was told by so many family members that it's not about that. It's like when they get back up, because if you're a black man in this country, you're gonna spend some time in jail. Like it's just inevitable. That yeah. That's what I was told. Like that, that it don't
That's
matter
what white
you
America
do.
thinks.
And so who gave you that narrative? White people gave you that narrative.
But we suck all that up. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was just getting ready to say, because we have assimilated so deeply into whiteness that it has been the death of our culture. It has been the death of what we know is right. We do allow things to just happen to ourselves and we don't say anything about it. And I know I used to be that way too. I used to be that. I was one of the head magical Negroes. I'm gonna tell you, I was, right? And now I know why God allowed that to happen to me, because my eyes had to open up to these systems so that I could stand in my position right now and do what I'm doing. I thought racism was the crazy white man riding around with the truck, the flag on the truck. And as long as we work hard and do what we can do, we can defeat anything. Their little racism doesn't mean anything. And boy, was I ever wrong. And I did not understand it until I went through what I went through at Eastern, when that teacher lied on me and there was nothing that I could do about it. That is when I got my reminder that, honey, I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how far you go. I don't care what you do. They gonna always remind your ass that you are black. I don't care how many drops of black blood you got in you. If you got one little drop,
it's enough for them.
It's enough for them. And so you can't win against that. See, I thought, we play their game. And if we play their game, you can't play a game where somebody will change the rules while you're in the middle of the game. So we would never win their game. So we have to stop. See, that's why we allow them to play in our faces, right? Because we so used to playing the damn game. I ain't playing no damn games. I'm not no kid. I'm a grown ass woman. And so
that's right.
With that being said, stop playing games with me. Stop playing games with my people. But my people, we got to stop playing games with ourselves.
Yes.
Look how many churches didn't drop the prison program. Remember when they used to have prison ministry? After that.
That's a whole nother conversation coming next.
That's a whole nother.
Churches ain't doing nothing about nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That is a whole nother. We got that on the list.
Okay, but I went and
we got 40,000 to talk about soon, so that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, right. They got to 40,000. But you sign in list where you sign in, like you dropping off whatever. You can see what ministers and stuff have been there. I remember back in the day, we used to go, it would be pages and pages. It was nobody, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was like, I think it was one Catholic chaplain or something like that. Other than that, it wasn't no deacons, no ministers, nobody signed up on the list. When do we just drop? How you gonna drop something from the black church and that's us? It's something that affects us.
Right, because we dropped it from the black church, so we dropped it from our consciousness. We thought we was okay. Now when these things are happening, then you say, look, this happened to me. This happened to my kid. This happened to my family member. First thing, well, what did they do? That's the first thing people, what did they do? Not, I'm telling you my kid was wrongfully convicted. Not, I'm telling you they lied. You too busy watching Matlock and all these other TV shows and think what you see on TV is real. That is not. People, these juries go and Google and do all kinds of crap, and then they come back and they'll give a guilty verdict on an innocent person. And once you in that system, it is hard as hell to fight your way out of it. Yeah. So if you don't get it while you out, if you don't get, like you said about, these judges and objections and all that stuff, while it's in a jury trial, don't think that appeal is going to be something easy. It is not easy.
And who's paying for an appeal? Ain't that more money?
Right.
I had to fundraise to pay for the first lawyer.
You even get the first appeal, right? They give you get if you were convicted by the jury, you get the first appeal by right. Okay. But let me tell you something. Nobody is paying close enough attention to the details of what is even appealable. Like, they don't care enough. Like, the detail goes out the window. It goes out the window when it comes to people of color going to trial. Because I have seen I've represented even white people going to trial. Guess what? All the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed and the this and the that and all of the things. But guess what? When it comes to people of color, all of a sudden we brushing this and that under the rug, acting like that don't matter. When objections are being made, they're being overruled. That's crazy. So when we talking about at an appeal level, there's not enough attention even being paid at a trial level, let alone the appeal level. That's crazy.
It is. That's why we got to start back court watching. I sat through my first court watching session in 2020 with Vernell Vest's son case, Carl Bruner. I was so floored. All of the witnesses got impeached. These were, mind you, this was a trial where it went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, let him go or give him a new trial. Of course, Ken Worthy ain't letting nobody go. Gave him a new trial. The prosecutor withheld tapes from the first trial. Let's start there. That are now in this trial. Why are we even having a trial here when y'all know y'all withheld evidence?
Brady violations. Okay.
Brady violation off the rip. The police officer, Officer Nancy Rodden Foster, Officer Foster signed on her case note that she picked up 2 videos. Well, only one was produced in this second trial. The second video that she picked up would have showed the direction of the murder. Now I'm trying to figure out who was the one that actually did this murder, because you got the police trying to cover it up from the beginning.
Okay.
You got on the trial officers that testified that they were told to stand down from their normal duties. That when there is a murder, they are supposed to clear all the guns on the site, clear any bulletproof vest on the site. They did not approve that. They did not do the bulletproof vest. They got the witnesses who actually got impeached on the stand, who I believe may have fired the gun or fired back. They did not take their guns. Things that were in the alleyway where all this stuff happened at, magically missing. This is all stuff that is being learned in this trial. Then there was a witness that had 22 felonies that he was looking at, that they shrink down to some misdemeanors so that he could say something against these men. And when he rode back into this second trial, he said, man, I do not know this guy. You don't know this guy.
Then what you doing here?
And what's crazy is the first trial, they said that, they had his witness account, but they couldn't find him. How you couldn't find him and he on parole? All you had to do was call his parole officer. But I'm sitting here and I'm watching the judge. Every time somebody got caught lying, she did like this, like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh my God. And then when the jury came back with a not guilty, because again, the witnesses got impeached, the video actually showed that the witness accounts were lies. So of course, what happened? The jury came back with a not guilty, and the judge still had the nerve to say to Mr. Bruner, "I hope you never make it back in my court again. You should have been apologizing, ma'am." And while they want to put Bolanos on up for perjury, why all them damn people that got impeached on this stand? Why they didn't get charged with perjury? 2 cops, all of the witnesses, two police.
There were every single person that took the stand was lying on this man. This man was sitting there telling me every time somebody else took the stand.
Lillian Diallo, sometimes she get on my nerves, but Lillian Diallo,
She be on it though.
She dog walked them. And she impeached all of those witnesses, and that man got a not guilty. And Lillian not know
even in the trial?
Co-defendant? There was a co-defendant who the witnesses said was across the street peeing. He was across the street smoking a cigarette. He was across the street doing this, doing that. Tape come on, he ain't nowhere across the street. Why is that man still sitting in there 5 years later when the person who actually was said to done the crime was given a new trial and got found not guilty? So if it's not guilty for him, it's not guilty for this guy sitting there 5 years later, and all he was supposed to be aiding and abetting. But that was proven wrong with these tapes. I don't want to take this over. I'm just trying to show y'all that this is a wicked, wicked game. These same tapes that cleared him, now Kim Worthy's office talking about they got to be opened up. So he had to call Claudia Whitman way on the East Coast to come and pay for these tapes to be unlocked. Why do the prosecutor have to unlock tapes that's in their possession?
Period.
When they tell Claudia that, oh, well, you ain't got to pay. I'm telling you, it's a game. And shout out to Michael Lawson. Michael Lawson is fighting for his life. They're trying to do surgery on him because he had a surgery. They pulled out the wrong part, and now they want him to go back in and get the right part done. He is scared, but he is fighting for his life, and he needs to be brought home. So justice for Michael Lawson.
Yeah. I'm surprised y'all talking about all this stuff with the judges, because my son's judge didn't even care. She fell asleep twice. She had to be called on for falling asleep.
Who was your son's judge?
I have to look her name up. She was in Lenawee County.
Lenawee County. Okay. All right.
She fell asleep twice.
All these judges be falling asleep at the damn bench. Like, how you even sitting on a trial and you asleep? How you even know what's going on?
I've seen it happen.
And even I had an attorney down at Wayne 36th District say, every judge down here know the police officers that lie. They know the ones that lie. As a matter of fact, when I was down there with my son, they was like, they know that these guys are liars. I sat in there and watched that. But I also sat and watched how people come in and take a plea, because that's really what Jay wants you to do. Plea. They want to plea all these people out because they don't want to, you to go to trial. They don't want to sit these lying police officers up here and have them lie all day in court because they know that these guys lie.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
If I may, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut no one off.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I may add to that, a huge problem with everything that's happening with Bolanos right now is that the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office filed a brief of appeal, and they're asking the Michigan Supreme Court to deny their appeal because they want to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. They want to overturn double jeopardy and try them again. Now, let me tell y'all, if double jeopardy is overturned, let's talk about what that really means. Plea negotiations are out the door. And why? And plea negotiations sometimes are good for people, right? Sometimes they are good. So if plea negotiations go out the door, what happens then? Because the prosecution not going to care. They never going to offer you a plea again, because why not just try you? Because if we lose, what we really losing? We're going to try you and try you and try you and try you. Bond is going to go up, or it'll just be nullified, right? Can you afford to even get out on bond? Because we just going to keep your ass in here and keep trying you and trying you and trying you and trying you. This is going to have but do y'all think that's going to have that big of an effect on white communities Or do you think that Black and brown communities are going to be the people that are going to get consistently retried?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Thelonious Cersei. Shout out to Thelonious Cersei, who was let go by a judge. And now they're trying him again. They vacated. What did they vacate the charges, or something happened? And so now this is double jeopardy. He was exonerated by a judge, and now they bringing charges back up again. How are you bringing double jeopardy? What?
That's a constitutionally protected right, and they are stripping it away from us in our faces. In our faces. How are we letting this go? Like I'm every day I wake up, I feel like this is crazy work that I don't understand how we just let this go. We're just like, oh, okay.
And you know what? The thing about it is that in every area of our living is this system. In every area. And like Leslie was talking about with her son, you know, to have to raise your children. And Gloria, my heart goes out to you, because when you're raising your children and you're saying, I'm pouring into them all the good things, they're being raised right. They had a good upbringing. And this was the idea. The idea was that, if you raise them right, they're going to be all right. I remember when I got pregnant with twins and found out that they were possibly one, I couldn't see exactly who he was because he wouldn't show it on the monitor, but I knew, felt in my spirit it was going to be two boys. And I cried. And I said, Lord, what am I going to do with boys? Not because I couldn't raise boys, but because of the system, because I knew the system. I've been around the system. I had uncles and brothers, and they all been in the system. How do you protect that? And I remember just crying and praying, help me. And there's no way. And I just want to say there's no way to safeguard in a way, because you still got to tell them the truth. They still have to see it. I praise God. Nothing happened. I'm not going to say nothing happened, but they didn't have to endure the system like so many. But you best believe I got one didn't tell me until years later that the cop pulled him over and had his hand on his gun for no reason. Searched his car.
But and
he said, Mama, I didn't want to tell you because I knew you would have raised hell. And he's right. He's right, I would have. But to know that at an early age, you got to tell them where you can't drive. You got to drive when they're 5 years old and say, we don't go to this area at night. We're going to go through. We're passing through because we're going to grandma's house, but you don't go here. You don't go here in the daytime. Stay out of here. Don't spend your money here. I'm telling them these things so that by the time they got 16, you can't just give them the keys. They had good grades. They were good children, but I couldn't just give them the keys. They showed responsibility. Couldn't just give them the keys without them promising you can't go to these certain areas and I need you back by a certain time. It's the things that we have to do. And let me tell you something. I believe we need to acknowledge, and I'm glad that Jay had a healing time for us, because we need to acknowledge the trauma that we have gone through. And now is the time where we really need to focus in on our culture, on our society, on our community, and heal and acknowledge the BS that has happened to us and not back down. Now's not the time to back down. Right. Now's the time to put it up. How can you sit in these positions and then call yourself humane?
Right. Let me play this video, Rabatia, since you brought that up.
Black women and black men, the 92% and the 80% sitting this out is not the problem. The problem, and mind you, I know you didn't vote for Trump. I understand. I understand that you consider yourself an ally, an activist, not one of them. I get it. But see, the problem is that there was not enough of you who were out there speaking out and converting your fellow white women, your fellow white men. Y'all are running to our communities to try to prove how much of an ally you are, how much on your side or on our side that you are. And you're not running to your own community and dismantling white supremacy. That's the issue. The issue didn't start here, love. And despite that we are not the reason why things have gone the way they've gone for generations, we've still been leading all the movements and the fights for our rights as well as yours as a woman, disabled, gay, whatever the case may be. But this is not our problem. It's always been our problem. It's been our problem for generations. The problem is that y'all continue to remain silent. You keep trying to distance yourself from your fellow white people because there is no such thing as white community. So you just want to be sure that we know you're not one of them. But you are not doing the work to convert more people to the side that you claim to be on. They've been attacking our civil liberties. And it is just now that they are focusing on yours as well that we see an incline of white women actually giving a shit. It is only now that we see white women becoming vocal, speaking about, oh, enough of the dividingness, enough of the division, enough of this, we're all women, we all need to stand together, they're coming for us all. Where was that energy before when they were attacking us? Where was that energy for our grandmothers, our mothers, our great-grandmothers, our aunties, who had to fight for their rights to even be considered humans? Where was all of that energy when they were pew-pewing black people, unarmed black people in the streets? Where's that energy when you're sitting next to Sally Sue and Mayonnaise May over there and they say something extremely anti-black or homophobic? Where is that energy if you're not speaking up face to face to the problem when you see it? If you're not addressing white supremacy and racism and calling it out and doing your damnedest to convert your people, to dismantle it in the minds of your people, you're not doing enough. We have a right to sit down because our feet are tired. Our backs ache from carrying all of you while you all have reaped the benefits and while we have continued to be disrespected, unprotected, appropriated, and exploited and unalived at unprecedented amounts that you and your people have never experienced. We no longer want to willingly lay down our lives. We are so sorry. Actually, no, fuck that. We ain't sorry. I am not sad about it. It's y'all's turn. It's y'all's turn. Go into the pit. Get on the front line. Step into the fire while we sit back and cool off from doing all of the heavy lifting for y'all. Being an ally is more than wearing a blue bracelet or a button. Now go run and tell that.
That part. That whole part right there. That part.
when I mean, we have done so much where I look at just advocating for these wrongful convictions. Mm-hmm. Going here, going there, going across Wayne County, Washington, all over the place, doing summits. We've been sitting in our faces. We talked to Dana Nessa. She giving us that face. Yeah, all that attitude and everything. We trying to, and now because something is going on in the world that's affecting you, we should all come together. We've been coming together. We've been telling y'all. We've been trying to tell our own people. Hey, we have to pay attention because what's affected us will eventually affect you. I say that to people all the time. Wrongful convictions don't have a type. It can happen to anybody. You could be going to the grocery store and it could be you. My son was walking to the store. It was him. What was your son doing, Gloria?
They were actually
a year later.
Right. A year and a half later. That was really crazy. We never even thought about it because we knew they hadn't done anything. So when we heard about it, we just kept on living. We didn't think it. And like I say, we got sucker punched real quick. It happened so fast when you didn't know the people. Even when my kids went to appeal, the lawyer told me, he said, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, all they did was sit your sons. They put the case on a conveyor belt. It slides down the conveyor belt and they just stamp it. That's what he told me. He said they never look at it. They never even open them up. They just open them up to stamp them and keep on going. They just like cars coming down the line at Ford Motor. I was just like, my mouth was open because I'm like, and then I listened to you just now. You guys say how much evidence and how Trichet was talking about all the things that came out in this guy's case. That's why I say, what is evidence? Because tell me what is enough. Because if you don't have enough after you have shown them, after another man has confessed to the crime, when you have found him guilty and you still can't come home, help me understand that. That is pure evil at its all-time best. That is telling us that you can do what you want to do when you get ready to do it to us. Not that everything that happens, you can bring all you want and it's still showing you, I don't care what you do, I can still keep you. You can give me 100 Brady violations and I can still hold you. Who gonna stop me?
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality of it, because to add to what you were just saying, Gloria, even in Bolanos's case, they're flopping his parole. They're denying him parole for lying to the police. And I looked over all of his paperwork, every single thing. That they're saying he's a menace to society and a threat to public safety. How is lying to the police a menace to society or a threat to public safety? And the lie that man told, he told a lie that any one of us would tell, because self-preservation is a thing. Anybody would do that. And his lie, he came back on it real quick. He lied about it for that quick and then came back on it. They don't even have a reason to flop him. And I done checked them for all of that. I wrote to Governor Whitmer. I wrote to Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist. I've written to everybody, and everybody is writing me back the same thing. Well, that's what it is. What you mean that's what it is? That's not what it is. Y'all
Right.
cannot just take lives like this. You can't do that.
And it's scary to me because God had really had to get a hold of me and let me know that I don't have to be afraid of anything, because I was so afraid when this case come out and I started reading everybody's case. The police was behind me and they had the lights going. I was so busy going on because you know what I was trying to do? I never stopped until I got to a well-lit area where I seen a whole lot of people hanging out. That's when I stopped, and he said, what did you think? Why did it take you so long to stop? Did you think this was the ice cream truck? I say, well, I hope all your ice cream not melted, but I was trying to get to where I needed to be. I needed everybody to see this story, because I know if I told it and I was alone, it was never going to be my story.
Period.
But it's scary to me when my kids been in there all this time, and you've been investigating for 2 years. You done talked to over 100 people and you still don't have an answer. And you got them in 2 weeks by talking to some people on the street. You targeted them and you never investigated anybody else. And at the first trial, this was a pre-trial. I'll never forget the judge talking about, well, I'm going to bound it over because of the nature of the crime. But let it note to the next court that take this case that the witness had multiple lies being told. And mind you that one of the young men has been called by another name. My son's name is Dennis. He's been called Juan the whole trial.
That's exactly what it is, Leslie. They didn't want it to go unsolved. It was a triple homicide.
Yeah.
A baby was involved. So they was going to get somebody.
Economics, right? So if people, when you Zillow and all those places, that crime report is real. And so, because I used to work at the U of M and I watched them doctor up stuff so the people would still come and send their children there. When we have our that crime they need to show that it's solved. Unsolved murders in a town or a county look bad, and people won't want to come. Our house was shot up when I was 14 years old. I saw the people who did it. They didn't. They said that I didn't know what I was talking about. I wasn't a little kid. I was 14, and in the paper they said, random shooting, nobody at home. I said, I guess me and my mom was nobody, because I don't live in Detroit. I'm here in Washington County, so they have they have to look a certain way, especially in Ann Arbor where I live. And so if they have a triple homicide and they could tell you we don't really know who did it, somebody's gonna be down Ellie's throat. And he ain't got the whatever backbone or whatever cojones or whatever to stand up and say, we don't know. But we know it wasn't these two men.
He knew he said that in 2019. In 2019, before he took office, he was very invested in their innocence, and he believed they're innocent. And that's my problem, is that now you sit in the number one seat to be able to reverse the curse, and you won't do it, and it just shows again their lack of being able to do what's right. How do you hold people in there and knowing that they're innocent? When we met last week with the or a couple weeks ago, when we met with the task force, and we looked at that Michigan Code of Professional Conduct, and it talks about they cannot withhold evidence, they can't do this, they can't do that, but they're doing all that. So if you got a code of conduct that says they can't do it, but then in that same code of conduct, it doesn't say what the hell we can do if they do it, what sense does it make to even have it? Same community bill that they tried to push through. It was like, oh, if they do this, if they do that, but there was no real meat to it. We need meat so that we can hold them accountable. It's not enough to just let people out for wrongful convictions. We got to stop why they're going in there. We got to stop the misconduct. 45.3% of wrongful convictions are due to official misconduct. That number is staggering. And we can't just act like it's not there. That is almost half of wrongful convictions are due to corruption.
Yep. And when you talk about it, just like we talking about Crystal, literally wrongful convicted, but we trying to save her life. Crystal in there dying of mold.
Wrongful medical neglect. Wrongful HIPAA violations. Just everything.
Right. She was wrongly convicted. But she has been so sick for 14 years. The mold is literally just eating her alive. We might as well just say the mold is eating her alive. And myself and Reverend Tia went out there to where did we go, Reverend Tia? Pontiac, where the governor people were there. And first thing they say, we say Crystal Carr, immediately they know who we talking about.
Yeah.
So they know there's mold in Huron Valley. They know that these people are sick. They know Crystal's sick. But they rather fight this case. They rather fight it and says no mold in there. She making it up and all that stuff when she got mold coming out her ears.
Yeah. Yeah. And I call it the P3s, paper pushing policy, because they push the policy. They have all these rules and regulations without accountability. There's no consequences for when they go against their own policy. The consequences are with people. We're the ones. It's paper pushing policy. They push the paperwork. They make a bill. They do something on paper, but there's no follow through. There's no accountability. There's no consequence for if. Where's the if then? There's if then for people, for the citizens. If you do this, then you do this. You have a possibility for 5 to 10 years. If you do this, what about, where's the balance?
There is none.
They rather charge you for a crime for behavior than for really a crime. Like Bolanos, so he lied. It's like
Come
when he
on
lied,
now.
he lied. Lies cost 15 years. You know, it's people that lie to the police all the time.
They're
I have
elected
Even
lied to
call
the
officials who
police
names.
lie
every
every
single
day.
time. Every
Yeah,
single time I have had encounters with the police, I have lied to them. Like I will say that. I've said it. I said it even on my series I've done. What? Because I'm not going to do your job for you. You, the
right,
police, do your job. You're not going
Elected
to tell me the
officials
truth. Why should
lie.
I tell you
Yeah.
the truth?
Yeah.
right.
And in his case, in a 5-week trial, the police got on the stand and lied and lied and lied and lied and lied and lied and lied. And that was just what they did at trial. That don't even count for what they did when they were interrogating him, when they were lying to him then. So you mean to tell me that man had no reason to be able to lie back? What?
It's amazing,
Self-preservation is a real thing.
right? But the white guy lied and he got immunity.
Come on now. He lied. No, according to him, he lied. According to him,
Right,
he lied. Because
right.
according to him, he admitted to the murder and then took it back. So according to him, he lied. Come on now. He ain't lied for real. He was telling the truth. When he said he committed
Who,
that murder, he was telling the truth.
right? Who
Then
lies
he was
to?
given immunity.
Right. He's sitting somewhere with his lying self.
Sitting pretty, living his
He done
best
got
life
away
while
with
Bolanos is
murder.
in prison.
Right.
I keep wanting to say make it make sense, but nothing that has anything to do with this system will ever make sense because at its deepest core, it is corrupt. At its
Mm-hmm.
deepest core.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm not mad that, what they're doing right now. I'm really not mad that they're tearing down all these systems and all these. Do it because it wasn't helping me in the first place. It didn't help my son. It's not helping Gloria. It's not helping all these people. It amazes me how people like, well, I'm better since I've been home I'm prison and I had this and I'm a better person. Like, how the hell you better? Because I'm not better and I went to visit. I'm still traumatized from the visits. So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
This system is corrupt. We need to be honest. We need to quit walking around acting like they're doing us a favor and that, crime really, if you look at the statistics, crime is down. But they tell you that crime is up and they'll sell you on like you can't even walk out the front door. And when you get somebody in here, they're gonna lie and give the Michigan is long as one of the states to give one the longest sentences. If you look at how Michigan sentenced people, so Michigan is light, a little Alabama or whatever when in regards to sentencing and having slaves because that's all they're doing is getting more slaves and keeping them in there longer to make free shit. So we have to be honest about it and tell the truth and then work on educating ourselves and quit blindly voting for these judges. I remember I went to an event at UD Mercy and it was talking about the judges and some of the people, I think Valerie Newman was there and was a judge there. And they were basically talking about police unions and police officers are really who vote for these judges. And they depend on their votes because really people don't vote. Some people just really skip that part. So, and that's how they keep getting in office. And so, of course, if police unions is helping you get your job, who you going to side with? The police. What happened to upholding justice? That you just throw that out of the witness when you know that you got officers parading in here lying all the time or doing stuff all the time. Where is the balance in the checks? Go ahead, Rabatia.
Yeah, just total agreement. No balances, no checks. And people need to know the impact of the experience when you go through, even just going through the court system and then going through and having to be incarcerated and the impact, psychological, emotional, social, economic harm that not just to the person serving time, but to their families, to their children, to those associated with them, to their mothers. I mean, it is not, I guess it is not helping us as a society. I think it's not helping us thrive as a society. We're keeping this narrative going for a few people to excel in life economically. Just a few people. Most of the people are not benefiting from prison. I'll never forget, it was a wealthy friend of the family's, and I don't think I talked to him for a long time after he came back later and apologized. And I had gone to Texas, and they have a very huge juvenile system of incarceration. And most of those young boys there were going to be leaving from the juvenile into the adult once they get to a certain age. I had never seen at that time so many brilliant young men who, I mean, a lot of them talked well, a lot of them had insight. And just to know that they're going to be leaving from that place, which was still set up like a prison, into the adult population prison. And I was, although we were there to provide an experience, like a basketball camp experience for them, and it went really well, along with some ministry and encouragement. And I just felt sick on the way home, and cried on the way back to where we were staying. And he said, "Why are you so upset?" And I said, I mean, because I did talk to many who were wrongfully convicted, and I'm like, it's so many youth of color. And he said, well, it's just a business. It's a business.
That's the problem.
I lost it. And I said some explicits along with the main thing was, at whose expense?
Mm-hmm.
At whose expense? And broke it down to him. At whose expense? And who's hurting because of all these men, these young boys? At whose expense?
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody to be able to be okay with that, to invest in that. I question your spirituality. I question your consciousness. I question your ethics. I question your humanity. Question if you're human. And to relate to people as if you are doing a humane act and that you can make decisions for the people. And your monies, your efforts go into housing and slavery traditions. No more. We can't let them off the hook anymore on this. We cannot avoid the conversation. And that's why it's important. Yeah, racism is their problem, not ours. We're healing.
We didn't start it and we can't finish it. And that's just the bottom line. We didn't start it and we can't finish it. Reverend Tia, I think, what you said was so very important. And it kind of speaks to why Survivor Speak is boots on the ground in the community with these lessons the way that we try to be, because we weren't just rocked to sleep by a coincidence, right? All of these things were very intentional. And I get why we're not as involved as we should be, because dealing with racism was very painful. What I experienced at Eastern by myself, it was very painful. I should have walked away, but who I am, the God in me, I had to stand tall. And it was a lesson that I had to get out of that. And I think what people need to understand is that, yes, sometimes when you fight this fight, you lose. But Fantasia said it best when she said, sometimes you got to lose to win again. And what are we willing to sacrifice is what it boils down to. You know, we have these places of comfort, but they're really false places, because how comfortable can you really be when you have something hovering over your shoulders? You know, we're going to be boots on the ground in the community teaching these lessons about judges with the Voting and More workshops that we're doing this time. Because who do judges affect? They affect us. They're trying to, that is mass incarceration. This is how prison privatization, this is so, come on now, do we think that the one judge in Pennsylvania that was getting kickbacks for sending young boys to prison, do we think that was an outlier? No, this is what these judges are doing across the country. They have to keep these prisons full because this is how mass incarceration works. This is how they get all this free labor, right? The 13th Amendment. All of this stuff is real. So it has to become real to us. We have to teach the lessons. That's why we try not to come from an accusatory place when we go into the community, because we understand why we haven't learned these. Hell, I didn't know this stuff. None of us knew it until we knew it. And so when you know it, the onus is on you to turn around and tell somebody else. If you have learned a lesson, whether you went through it yourself, whether you've seen somebody go through it and you're not talking about it, you are part of the problem. How do you become part of the solution? You get busy. There are actionable items, there are actionable steps that we can take together that we could truly make a difference. We can't stand down. We've been doing that long enough. Now we can stand down when we're supposed to stand down, right? But I'm talking about overall. We have to awaken ourselves, come to the table, and take our rightful place.
Yeah. That's what's up, Trisha. You're right.
That's
because
right.
if we don't tell these stories, if we don't have these conversations, then we just walking around here like zombies, thinking it's okay until something happened to you.
You know, you see
Now
these
you
people
looking
always
for
saying that. You know, you ever watch a movie, a slavery movie, and you hear, you always hear the people, how they say they just can't finish watching it. But yet we see it in real life happening to us. And we don't do anything about it. But yet when we watch something on TV where they killing us and beating us, we seem to we can't stand to see it. But open your eyes. It's happening right now, right in front of your face. It's happening to your children, your loved ones, your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like they had blinders on. And they just don't want to, and just like, I don't know who just said, as if it's not affecting them, they don't care. But it is affecting you, because if I live in your community with my children, then whatever they do certainly affects you.
Yeah.
The decisions my children make will affect you, whether it's in a good way or whether it's in a negative, bad way. We all get impacted by things from our neighbors and other people, and it doesn't matter who they are. Their decisions do matter. Quit saying, well, what go on in my house, stay in my house, and what do this? And no, everything that go on in your house affects my house. So we need to quit that. That's the reason why. And it's the saddest thing, you'll catch us going out to these big, all these concerts. We so ready to run to where it's a free giveaway. And it's so sad, because that's when you can get people out. If you're feeding them or giving them something free, they'll run you over. They'll do anything. But when say somebody is out here taking our kids' life, It's thousands and thousands of incarcerated people dying, just like the young lady with the mold. How can you not feel her pain? How could you not? That's why I say everything in life, you need to say to yourself, oh, wow, that could be me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Yes.
situation in life, that's what I say. When I see a lady who getting beat, I say, oh, Lord help her, because that could be me. Everything in life, you need to question that could be you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could wear anybody's shoes. And the thing about it is, I never knew, I knew about hearing about people being in prison and, and they got this person got to, but I've never ever seen it at this extent that I've been seeing it for all these years. And it's like, what is wrong with you? I just question all these officials. Is there somebody in there that, I mean, truly have a heart? Because I couldn't, and that's just me and my heart. I'm speaking for me. I couldn't be in a prosecutor office working for you and seeing you be dirty and seeing you not doing what you can do. I have to step down, because see, when God gave me that job, I know he got to have something better, because I know he didn't sit me there to watch this and be in silent. I couldn't do it. You hear people say, well, I have to have a job. I gotta work. But hey, that's where faith come in at, and that's where moral values come in at. Humanity. When you can say, I can't as a person, as a human being, stand to see you do this and just be quiet about it. So just fire me. In fact, you can fire me. I quit.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when we stand up and stop accepting this on our jobs that we do. Because there's plenty of us working up there in sheriff's department and the prosecutor's office, and you ride, anytime you quiet, you riding with them, as far as I'm concerned.
And Gloria, if I may, I think one of the biggest things is that these prosecutors they're always relying on the fact that, like, oh, we got so many cases coming in, blah, blah, blah. That don't matter. That don't matter. Your job is to slow it down then. Your job is to look at the case file. Your job is to review the facts. Your job is to assess everything with a fine-tooth comb. That is your job. And if you are not doing that job, then you are not standing up to the ethical, parameters with which your job entails. And if you cannot do that and you're not willing to slow it down and do it properly, then get the hell out of there. Go do another job. Go do something else.
That part.
Because if y'all want to do this like factory work, like somebody else had mentioned earlier today, like this a conveyor belt at the factory, no, that's not what it is. These are people's lives, and the facts and the circumstances of every single case matter. Every single case, there are facts and circumstances that are specific to every single case, and those need attention and detail.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Yeah. And I think our viewers, listeners need to understand that these practices are from the top down. And we are seeing the evidence of the practices, or what I would deem as the behavior, because I believe a lot of these officials need behavioral management. They need to take some behavioral management courses. They always send everybody else for anger management and for all these other managements. They need behavioral management because we keep reinforcing the negative behavior. They keep doing these practices, and we keep voting them in. And so we got to know this is top down. When you look at the administration right now over the United States, just go top down. The practice of lying, the practice of not taking accountability. These are behaviors. These are behaviors that are usually taught By the time you're 5, you learn how to take accountability. They don't want to take accountability. When you look at the fact that even our mayor, Dugan, 2020, won the Golden Padlock Award, which is an annual award for what? Hiding information. Hiding information. It's a distinction that is provided in the country for the most secretive public funded agency. The most secret, which means he did a good job hiding emails. And then we know about how many times all of a sudden in Detroit, we can't find the documents.
Mm-hmm. The record's missing. The
That's
missing
all
records.
That's all the time.
The records is missing. The records didn't come. The records.
They didn't come, right. But he got an award for that.
Mm.
We got to wake up. We got to wake up and we got to know that we cannot find solace. We cannot find righteousness. We cannot find that in the people who are oppressing us. You cannot go to the oppressor and find peace.
Mm-mm.
You cannot find, we got to stop acting like the battered woman. Stop acting like that. Stop acting like you can't do without the abuse. We have been acknowledging. We've been abused.
Yeah.
We've been abused. And we keep trying to find peace with the oppressor. We keep trying to get in good with the oppressor. No. He doesn't like you. He doesn't want you. There is no peace there. We'll figure it out.
Thank you, Reverend Tia. Thank you, Trisha, Gloria. Thank you for my Detroit lawyer.
It's been such a pleasure. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on and letting me speak with y'all. You women are all amazing. I love everything that everyone has said tonight. So thank you so much. I feel blessed to be able to be here.
Yes, and tell us where people can find you at.
My Detroit Lawyer. You can literally find me everywhere at My Detroit Lawyer. I am, I don't know if I'm doing a good job, but I'm trying to do the best that I can. That's all I can say. Like, I'm trying to put the information out there. I'm trying to work hard for everyone. I'm trying my best. So,
and check out the TikTok series that you're doing.
Yeah, the TikTok series. Who the fuck decided to incarcerate Bolanos?
Yes. I started watching it. I was like, wow. It is, you have to put yourself, like Gloria said, in somebody else's shoes for a moment to see and to feel that injustice is real. Take yourself out of looking at, yourself and put yourself in somebody else's space. You will feel differently. And then you will be able to have these conversations and understand it on a level that we got work to do. And while everybody else is doing their work, we need to be doing ours. So yes, and I look forward, hopefully you come back next week and we can have this other conversation about freedom denied. And again, you guys, don't forget about Crystal. Trisha, could you tell us about the event that we got coming up?
Yeah, so we have been blessed to partner again with Project Community. And so we will be having a community conversation around the conditions of women's Huron Valley and featuring the story of Crystal Clark and having some accounts from other women who have had to suffer through the same thing that she is suffering through now. And so we are just highlighting this story. And so we'll be there on the campus. That's April the 16th. I believe that is a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. at 6 p.m. So we will have a flyer dropping shortly with all the information. We hope folks come out and support. Share the flyer. Most of all, we want to make sure that we're getting Crystal's story out to folks who may not know it. So even, my Detroit lawyer, we would even appreciate a nice TikTok about Crystal, if you don't mind there.
Hey, I will try. In between working, I'm trying to do the most I can, but if I can do something, hey, I'm more than happy to.
You know what? And I think we have things that we can actually share with you, just a video that you could probably just put out on your page, if you don't mind. We're just trying to get the story out as far of a reach as we can share. At some point, all we have to share is our stories, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we won't let them take control of that. And so we want to make sure that we are uplifting for Crystal. So please. Oh, and we're going to have an informational rally on campus the week before. So we'll be out there with the bullhorn and the music and passing out flyers. And so we'll be in the diag. And so we'll have more information about that coming as well. So y'all stay tuned.
Cool.
And you can support our call to action to support Crystal. You can save a life. So contact Governor Whitmore. She know all about Crystal. Contact her office, send an email, write a letter. Trisha was telling me about someone was saying that make it certified. Now we can hold them accountable because we know they got the letter. But our call to action, just help us support Crystal. We're trying to get her home because the doctors already said that she's not going to survive in that space. So we got to get her out of there. And then we can help her with our wrongful conviction. And then Gloria, thank you for going. I meant to show your sons earlier, but thank you for joining us tonight. These are Gloria's sons. Gloria is still fighting for them, and we're still advocating for them. And so thank you, Gloria. I know every time, I just know from me to you how hard it is telling that story, and reliving those moments. And so I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. I really do. And so, yeah. So thank you, everyone. We'll be back next Friday for turning a moment into a movement. And until then, see you guys later.
All right, y'all.
Just a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Just a light of mine. Just a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh Lord, just let it shine. This light of mine, this light of mine. Oh Lord, would you please just let it shine. Take the drama out of my life. Oh Lord, every night the pain ain't right. I wake up at night, I never sleep. 26, 10, and 7, that's just me. Every day I need a little seed. I need a little fresh air, man, I need to breathe. All I know is trauma, all I know is tickets. All I know is no visit. All I know is a mission to get straight up out of prison. Lord have mercy for me. Lord have mercy on my people. Preacher Mary Washington and all my real. Lord have mercy with my people. I pray to God, we really need you. When I was down bad, when things weren't going right, every time I prayed at night, I put my hands up in my face. I said, Lord have mercy, little light of mine. Lord God, please let it shine. It's the drama that I live in my life. I swear to God, I was a bad guy every night. 10 toes down, salute. Everybody suffering, everybody who trying to make a way. Everybody looking for the sky, everybody looking for that piece of pie. In a law library, I know what that feel like. Hoping that somebody get active and involved in your situation. Man, pop your collar and pray. Cause Lord have mercy on my soul. And they make bad guy father get out soon. And the rest of those brothers who be mobbing to child each morning. Oh man, I ain't going to this afternoon. Man, I'ma miss dinner today. I got a couple of noodles. Hey, you know what that feel like? Yeah, you know what it is. And if you a victim of a wrongful conviction, suffered and served by Ken Worthy, then I know that you know what that pain feel like. And your mama know what that pain feel like. Your father know what that pain feel like. With that light, let that little shine. Let that light shine a little light of mine. Bad guy, Doughboy Week, all these great people in this great world of ours. 10 toes down, salute. I appreciate you, bad guy. I appreciate you, Week. I appreciate the tech. I appreciate everybody in the studio. We gonna pop off that LV. Ooh-wee. Because that's what they be liking to see. But I hope you hear the miss and then you see me fresh. Salute.